Hi, all. This is Dr. J, streaming live from Long Island, New York, going solo today. Very, very enthusiastic about the stock market as it's melting up today. So apparently things aren't as bad as they looked yesterday, except if you own Sava. So we're going to talk about Sava and Annovis, two of the Alzheimer's plays that have seen better days, and talk about each of the prospects of those two. And we're going to talk about the vaccine makers, comparing the charts. What's the best vaccine maker to be buying today? Is it Vaxart, VBIV? Is it Inovio? Is it GRTS? And so on, Gritstone. So we have a lot to talk about. I'm usually on at 11:15 on Fridays with Professor Spike, Arjun, Jake, but I'm flying solo today on Friday. We were on yesterday. You want to catch that video vlog because there's a lot of information there. But there's a lot of charts that I wanted to look at that I clearly didn't have the time yesterday. So today is another day. I figured I could do about 10 charts in no time. I'm going to just acknowledge some of the people who have found me this morning, some of our loyal viewers that make up a very interesting chat group. Tom Markham, good afternoon to you, Tom. And Regomarco, VBIV. VBIV is flying. We're going to look at VBIV this morning. Pete is with us. Hey, Pete. ATHX. Pete and I have an ATHX bond. Regomarco, thanks, Dr. J. Greetings from Switzerland. Wow, yesterday we had someone on from Netherlands. Today we have someone on from Switzerland. We're becoming an international show, which I like. All right, look, I don't have a tremendous amount of time, so I'll just say hello to Chris, and then we're going to get started. Chris, hello. I think you're happy about AEMD so far. I didn't recommend it, but on Sunday, I gave my 3 best picks of the week. AEMD was one of them. AEMD is flying. My other 2 best picks were Amazon and Tesla. Quite a difference between them. One has a market cap of 55 million, and the others are in the multi-billions, so big difference. Wow, we have K Indonesia. Welcome from Indonesia. So we have people from Europe, from Asia, from all over the world. Wow. So it really amazes me sometimes about the international composition of our viewership. And Rego Marco says, Albo looks good. Where is Arjun? I'll tell you where he is. He's at another bachelor party. All his friends are getting married. I think he got jealous. That's why he's getting married. So he's enjoying the moves in Albo and VBIV. I can assure you that. I've been in contact with him. He will be coming back for a couple of shows in September as his work schedule lightens, his bachelor party schedule lightens a little bit. Okay, Tom, been watching AEMD since your Sunday show. Nice call. Thank you, Tom. I'm looking for the big one on AEMD. I'm looking for the move from the pop from the 3s to the double digits. That's what Dr. J is in it for. But already it's a nice gain. If you want to take some profits, take something off the table, why not? So let's get started. Otherwise, all I'm going to be doing is reading the comments. I'm tempted to keep doing that, but I really want to I don't have, like I said, an unlimited amount of time today. It's an extremely hot day. We have beach plans. So let's get started. Share screen. I want to start with, Professor Omar is here. Welcome, Professor Omar. Everyone's greeting each other. Happy Friday, says Mark. Okay, so our group is finding us. People didn't really expect me to be on at this juncture. Professor Omar is welcoming me. Hi, Dr. J. Hi, Professor Omar. Good to see you this morning, so to speak. We have the best doggone chat group on YouTube. Don't forget, subscribe so that you can join our chat group. Or you can watch on replay, of course. I prefer you come live and interact with all of us, but if you can't, please join us on replay at your leisure whenever you find us. Please subscribe and give us a like and tell your friends about us. And furthermore, I have to do a disclaimer before I do the show, and that is what? Do your own due diligence. Our opinions are strictly our own and do not constitute investment advice. Check with an advisor before acting. That's it, Tom. We need several thumbs up from each person. I don't know if you can do that. I think you can only do one thumbs up. All right, so let's get to it. Let's get to it. We'll do the vaccine makers first, then we'll get to the discussion of Sava and Annovis. I'll tell you what I did this morning with respect to Sava and Annovis, but first I want to look at the averages. The S&P 500 is up 0.8% to 4505. The Dow is up 0.61% to 35,426. NASDAQ is up over 1% to 15,110. The Russell 2000 is up 2.62%. That's a huge move for the broad market to 2272. So everything's flying today. Let's start with vaccine maker VBIV. Up another 4% today to 353, 14.5 pennies. VBIV, yes. I did click it. Guess we're a little bit slow in loading. There we go. Okay. Up 14.5%, as I said before. It's interesting that the 52-week range is between 2.07 and 4.3. We're getting there. We're getting towards that high of the year, the high over the last 52 weeks. I think we have the momentum to get there. Let's take a look at the chart. Arjun, you're celebrating this one, right? Yeah, Arjun texted me VBIV. VBIV, self-explanatory text. Arjun, as you know, is loaded up with VBIV. It's probably his favorite investment, along with Albo. Okay, this has been a tremendous run from just August 17th. August 17th, that's nothing. I mean, that August 17th, in 2 weeks, we ran from low of 273 to where we are today at 353. An 80-cent pop from 273. That's just tremendous. That's just tremendous. And every day, what's really nice about this run, what's incredible about this run, is we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-day run. 8 of those 9 days have been solid green candles. Today included, another solid green candle. And each and every day, it's hardly given back off the top. So it's been closing near the top of the candle. In the meanwhile, it's taken out the 50, which is above the 100. It's taken out each of those. Not sure where the 200 is. I'm trying to find it. Well, let me get rid of the drawings. It'll look clearer. Okay, there's the 200. So the 50, it looks like it's about to cross the 200. Do you believe in the death cross? Yeah, I don't believe in it. 50 crossing the 200, a lot of people call that the death cross. When the stock is going up like this, I pay no attention to it. The price is above the 50, above the 200, above the 100, above the 9-day. So, I mean, you know, if that bothers you, fine, stay away from it. But I don't even know that it's definitely going to cross. They just met and kissed today. Maybe it'll turn around and the 50 will just tangentially hit it. In any event, where are we going? The next stop up is all the way up here, back in, can't tell, but the high of 431. Let me see if I can tell the dates better. The day is 6/29/2021. So June 29th, we were at a high of 431. That high, I believe, will be challenged in almost no time if it continues the way it's continuing, the way it's going. So VBIV is looking solid. I've been adding almost daily, little bits at a time. I'm not chewing off a tremendous amount of this, but I'm getting more and more enthusiastic as it's inching closer to that 430 level. And once it takes that out, there's no telling where it runs. So it needs a catalyst to get it over, to get it to the moon, I think. That catalyst could be the Canadian government coming in with a big grant, which Arjun is half expecting, or 3/4 expecting. You see the chart, really there's nothing but air to stop it from hitting that 431 mark. It looks like it's going to get there. So even from 350 to 341 is a huge percentage gain. So the idea is to buy a little here, buy a little on a pullback. I think this one has to be owned at this point. I know it's been disappointing before. Every time it's gotten up to this level, come right back down to the 200. So, I mean, that's certainly possible that we're in this trading range and it'll get close to that 430 level and then start going down again. Well, I got the answer to that. Take half off the table as it approaches 430. All right, let's go to the next one on my list, which I think was Vaxart, another very interesting vaccine maker, also COVID-19 vaccine. All of these on my list today are COVID-19 vaccines, along with other kind of vaccines. For VBIV, it's a hepatitis B play as well as a COVID play. So let's just draw this. We have a series of this was actually a big pop, but let me just draw this in this way anyway. There was a very, very big pop on 131 to 2490. That's right, you heard me, 2490. But it settled It settled that day much lower. It actually settled that day at, let's get that. It blinks off on me. Oh, well, it settled at about 770. So from 2490 to 770, it gives you an idea of the volatility of these things. But in general, we've been making a series of lower highs, which don't like that too much. This one has a lot going for it. One of the things going for it is it's an oral Sabin-like vaccine, which a lot of people don't like to take needles. I'm one of them who likes to take needles. Okay, so this one has a descending trend line, lower highs, and an ascending trend line with higher lows, and they're meeting up just about ready to meet, probably out here. Let's get a date on that, where this pattern should end, around, not until January 9th. So we're on the weekly, don't forget. So January 9th in the weekly may sound pretty far, but it's not. So we're getting a lot of back and forth filled between the top descending trend line and the bottom ascending trend line. And what it looks like at this point is a nice swing. The chart doesn't look nearly as compelling as VBIV, but it's not one that I wouldn't own, put it to you that way. I think you can own this one. And let's go to the daily to get a different perspective. Want to be a little bit more thorough on this. The daily shows a nice pop. We have an inside inside bar, which was solid green on a downtrend, reversing that downtrend. This bar reversed the downtrend. We have an uptrend. We went as high yesterday as 950. The recent run was from 820, where we were at about 770. So we had a nice little run from 770 to 950. 770 to 950. That's a nice little run. Come back a little bit today, not too much. It looks like not a bad place to enter. If we can take out the 950, we're looking at the next resistance up here at 1033. So I'll draw those two lines in, horizontal lines. So the first piece of resistance is from yesterday's high at around 950, and then the next resistance is around 1035, the high on August 10th. So Vaxart has got a fairly nice little chart. I don't see it exploding, but if it does take out 1033, then I'm very interested. In fact, even if it takes out, let's say, the open of that day, $10, makes it very interesting. I'm going to draw that $10 marker. So let me say, with a break of $10, I think it should be owned, because it could then break out of this pattern that it's in. So this is one to watch as well. We talked about grits before. Let's talk about it again. Before we do that, let me come back to the group comments. Let's see if there's any pertinent ones that I want to look at. Professor Omar is lamenting his Sava, and we'll talk about that in a bit. All right, so Gritstone, GRTS. Gritstone has been doing nicely. We've had a nice run up from the 4th of August, where it was a low of 623. It's now $9. So let's draw that line in. From 623. We have a nice ascending trend line. And yesterday we topped out at, let me get rid of some of these lines. How to clear the drawings. Too many lines. So I'll put back some lines. Okay, this is really the only line we need for the moment. And I'm going to do a horizontal line for the resistance. Resistance was yesterday's high, which was also the 200. So it's synonymous. And that would be about 927 is resistance. With a break of 927, I get very excited because we would be taking out the 200 as well as a high, as well as yesterday's high. So we're at a very crucial juncture here. And what's next? We talked about this, I think, yesterday. The 1060 level should be an easy run. So with a break of the 200, you look to take some off the table at 1050 and swing the rest and let the rest run. Let the rest run. So if it breaks that 1060, you got a good one. But I would look to swing this one, at least some of the money to be swung, take profits at 1060. So in at a break of 928, you go in, you go out with half your money at 1050, let the other half run. GRTS, very nice chart, along with VBIV, which also is a beautiful chart. Vaxart is interesting, but not as nice a chart, but still interesting. And the next one I had on the list, let me just check that. I had Novavax, NVAX, another Canadian company. Vaccine maker with an approved vaccine in Canada, and they had been flying. They're pulling back a little. Take a look. Let's see if we can draw a nice trend line here. Perfect trend line, actually. So we're at trend line support today, and we bounced right off of trend line support. It's been a tremendous run from a low of 172 to 226. And that low was the end of July 27th. So we're talking about 1 month, and we ran from 170 to 226. We actually ran higher. We ran all the way to 260. So before pulling back a little. That clearly is the resistance. 260 is resistance. Do we have any resistance before that? Yes, we do. We have some resistance up about 250. And a little, just a drop of resistance, if you want to draw it, up around 246. So this looks like an excellent place to buy some Novavax for a swing trade to 245. 226 to 245. Stop loss below below the low of the day on 8/17 would be my stop loss. That would be 213. Let's say 210. So stop at 210, take profit, what do we say, 245. This is a very nice swing. Very nice. I like the way it bounced off of this trend line support. Beautiful. It stopped exactly in the right place. Let's look at the next one. Long term, the prospects for these things are all to the moon. The vaccine makers have tremendous prospects as COVID and other diseases seem to be persistent, tough foes, going to be around a while, and we're going to be getting a lot of needles. What can I tell you? The next one I want to look at is INO. I don't know when we looked at that one last, probably a long time ago. This is Dr. Kim, the CEO forever. And this one is, let's take away whatever lines we have, clear drawings. We do look like trading range bound here, very much so, much more so than the others. I'd rather draw a horizontal line, but I wound up with a vertical. That's good enough. All right, so we have resistance at the high of the day of 812, which looks like it's right at about 960, something like that, maybe 970. No, it's actually 996. It's hard to tell because it was flashing off on me. So let's say $10 is resistance. Let's draw the low end of the trading range. The low end of the trading range is a low of 715, which wish this would stay on the screen for me. 768. So 768 to $10. And we're in the middle of that range right now well, we're closer to the top of that range at $9. In the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trading days, we made progress. A lot of progress. From a low of 775, 772, up to the 200, repelled at the 200 at 959. So the 200 is the first level of resistance, the 200-day moving average, which would take us to 954. So 954 looks like a hurdle that you got to go through. It's at 889, the stock right now. Is this playable? Well, it's playable between the lines, that's for sure. So swing traded. It doesn't look like it has the prospects for an enormous run like VBIV or possibly GRTS. But those two could really run. This one, on the other hand, it could run as well on some sort of enzyme, China news, perhaps. 1033 would have to be taken out before it could run. So this one has some interesting prospects as well. We're liking what we see in the vaccine makers. Again, VBIV and GRTS look like the best charts so far. For a swing, I like Novavax the best. Novavax, rather. And we're looking at Moderna and BioNTech next. Let me just check back at the comments, see if there's any interesting comments. Mark keeps asking about TSP. Mark, if I can get to it, I will. TSP, I will try to get to that. But first, let's do Moderna and BioNTech. MRNA. This is one that I bought at $50, sold it like $180, and it hit the other day an all-time high at 500, 497. So it makes me feel a little foolish. 382 right now, down $17 or 4.38%. So while some of the lesser market cap vaccine makers are doing well today, and the market as a whole is doing well today, we have a fairly big red candle on Moderna, but that's okay. Look from where it's come, and we have a nice support area right here at 349. So let me draw that in. This is an extremely volatile stock in that you had a phenomenal run. You can get some big pullbacks, and that's not unusual after a huge run like this. I mean, just back here in beginning of May, we were at 143. So there you go, from 143 in May till August, we ran to 143 to 500. I mean, so a pullback of this small magnitude is nothing. A pullback to this level of 349 would be a buying opportunity. So that would be huge if we could buy it even somewhere in this vicinity between the lines. That would be great, between 358 and 349. That would be a strong buy, looking to challenge the resistance, which is the up here at about 500, 496. So of course we have other resistance right here at 415. So if you buy at 350, you're looking to sell at 400. Swing it. This looks like the tighter range between 415 and 350 looks like where it wants to trade for now. So Moderna is a beautiful swing setup between 415 and 350. That's how I see Moderna for now. Is it going to run again? It may eventually run again, yes. But if that's what it has to break 415 before it's going to make that run again. BioNTech. BioNTech, a little German biotechnology company, has done all right for itself. With a similar run that Moderna had. Back here on May 6th, it had a low of 145. We ran it up on 810 to a high of 464. Comparable run. Looks very much like the chart of Moderna, down today to 2.32% or $8. It looks amazingly like the chart of Moderna. And I guess with good reason, because it's Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna that's been the king and queen of the COVID-19 vaccine makers. And now people are going to be lining up to get the booster shots. in this country, which will, no pun intended, be a shot in the arm for both of these companies. Maybe it is a pun intended. So we're on trend. Look at this. You could buy this today. There's nothing wrong with buying this today if you want. If you buy it today, you want to swing it, you buy it at, let's say where it is, 361. Let's draw some resistance in here. So you know where you could look to swing it to. Resistance at 387, that's not a very big swing. And if it breaks that 387 level, we're probably looking at challenging the all-time highs. So maybe the more interesting way to go is wait for it to break 390 and jump in for the run to 500. BioNTech, buy, the word buy is the tip off here. BioNTech, buy BioNTech. I think we should all be buying BioNTech. So let me see if I did all my vaccine makers. Yes. So all that's left is Sava versus Annovis. I want to discuss that. And also, if I can get to a couple of the requests, TSP, what is David up to? PAVM. Okay, we'll see if I can do some of that. Okay. So I'm going to do Sava versus Annovis. Give you my thoughts on that first. Sava, and then we'll do TSP and PAVM if there's time. I think I got a little time. 12:41. I got to talk fast. That's all. Talk fast, Dr. J. Talk fast. All right, so Sava. I don't want to do more than 45 minutes, so could I do a chart a minute? I think I could. Sava is $61 down 10. It's been all over the map. It went down to the 200-day, bounced back, and is looking to fill that gap from yesterday, which would be that gap would be the close yesterday, which is at $70. So I think it could, the rate it's going, it could fill that gap back to $70. Should you have high expectations on this one? I think there's a lot to worry about here, but for now it's looking good. It's looking very good. So I'm not going to dwell on the negative, and I don't have that much time anyway. But he said, she said, the data was not generated by an independent source. That's BS. Data was generated independently. The slideshow might have been put together by the company, by Sava, rather than by the independent consultants, the independent company. Forgot the name of it, with a Q. But it still doesn't mean the data is wrong. So it's interesting. I mean, till all this gets sorted out, I hope you have a lot of stomach medicine, because it can really be churning to your stomach. What I did is I took a little bit off my Sava and I bought some Annovis, because the bad news is already out on that one. So Annovis, the bad news is out. We're looking for some good news now. I typed in the wrong symbol. ANVS, type what better. All right, ANVS. Okay, so as I said originally, when it had a fall from grace, said it's going to be hovering around this area, trying to find a bottom And that's what it's doing. It's trying to find the bottom. I think it may have found the bottom, but it's going to take a while longer for it to move back up. It moves back up with good news from the FDA, allowing it to proceed with its phase 3 study. I believe it will get that news. So I'm very optimistic that it will get good news down the road. I just don't know how far down the road is. So we could see a lot of this. I think we're going to hug that 200. That is firm support. One thing I like about this one is we seem to know where the bottom is. We don't know that about Sava. The bottom could be $8 from whence it started. So Sava is much more risky at this point than Annovis, even though Annovis had its bad news already that the phase 2 data was not what they were expecting, but it still may be good enough. You know how to extract a subset from the data and say we're going to restrict the enrollment in the trials and the phase 3 trials so that it's only for people who are blah, 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 and it's good enough. I suspect something like that will occur. There were positive trends, don't forget, in the data. So Annovis fundamentals are not terrible. The technicals are not terrible at this point because you know where the bottom is. The bottom, the day after it fell from grace was 3308. I think that bottom is good, at least for a long time. If that bottom is taken out, as Professor Omar would say, just forget about it. But on the other hand, if we break out of this trading range, if we break north of the trading range, north of $45 a share, then you buy like a crazy person, because then you're looking at probably a move to this level here at 65.50. So which stock would I rather own right now? I want to own Annovis as opposed to Sava at the moment, only because of the less uncertainty, believe it or not. TSP for Mark. I hope I got the symbol right. TSP and then PAVM, and we're done for today. TSP, keep in mind, I never heard of this stock. I know nothing about the fundamentals. It's a request. I'm just looking at the chart, and the chart looks beautiful. It looks quite nice. Even today's candle is my favorite kind of candle with a big bottom shadow, and it's come back nicely. It was on trend from a low of $37 on August 18th. Let's draw that trend line in, but you see that we have an even better trend line to look at now, as it's veering away from that trend line and forming what appears to be a new, it appears to be a new trend line. Let's put it to the bottom of this guy, right about there. And we have a parallel channel at the same time. So we have a touch here. 2 touches is not a trend line, but still, it appears that it wants to make a slightly new trend line as it's veering north. I like when it veers north. The resistance is clear. Let me draw that in. This is a nice chart, Mark. The resistance is clear. Resistance up here from the September 21 high at $50, break of 50.40, and this thing, it doesn't have much in the way of resistance after that. Not much at all. It could run up to the double tower here at about $70-something. So let's just say $70 is resistance. So $70 area would be next. So a break of 50 and we go to 70. This looks very, very nice, Mark. A very nice pick. I don't know how long you've had it, but it's very nice. And finally, PAVM, which must be on a run. People have been asking me to chart this one. PAVM is on a run. Nice little rounded bottom here at 576 on 817, and we've been moving on up. The real resistance isn't until, let's draw it. I think there's more room to run as this stock market continues to melt up. This should look to take out 780. So this one looks like it could run up to 775 without any trouble. If you want to take a little off the table at that point in time, be my guest. So thank you guys. Mark says he bought at 29. Very nice. And Professor Omar, Mankind, Annovis, Beam, all look good to me. Mankind on a pullback. Professor Omar has been hot, hot, hot. So if Professor Omar says so, we got to pay attention. All right, so that's it for today. Everybody have a great weekend. Keep in mind, Mankind, Annovis, Beam, Professor Omar's picks. Dr. J will try to come up with a new trifecta on Sunday, like I did last Sunday, see if I can make a weekly event out of that. Have a great weekend, everybody. Happy trading. And swing that Novavax. Bye, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, give me that thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Adios.